They smile, they blend in, and they pretend to care, but behind the mask, they're quietly dismantling your peace. These aren't obvious enemies, they're the hidden personalities that drain your energy, sabotage your growth, and leave scars you don't see until it's too late. Let's expose them. Chapter 1: The Mirror That Lies. There are people who walk into your life and seem to understand you instantly. They laugh at the same jokes, nod at the same ideas, and reflect back your emotions as if they were your twin soul. At first, it feels magical. You think, finally, someone who gets me. But what if that reflection is not real? What if it's a carefully crafted illusion designed to pull you closer, only to drain your authenticity? This is the danger of the false mirror. Unlike obvious manipulators, these individuals don't push or demand. They mimic. They study your words, your gestures, your values, and then they wear them like a mask. You see yourself in them, but what you're really seeing is a distorted copy. And the more you trust that copy, the more you lose sight of your own truth. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." That's the heart of the problem here. The false mirror thrives on your hesitation to fully embrace who you are. If you doubt yourself, if you crave validation, they step in and offer a reflection that feels comforting. But it's not acceptance, it's manipulation. They give you the illusion of being seen while quietly reshaping your identity to fit their needs. Think about how this plays out in everyday life. You meet someone who seems to share your passions. They echo your dreams, your frustrations, even your quirks. You feel safe, so you open up more. But slowly, you notice something unsettling. They don't just share your ideas, they claim them. They don't just empathize with your struggles, they use them. The reflection becomes a trap, and you realize you've been feeding energy into a hollow mask. The danger is subtle. Unlike loud aggressors or obvious liars, the false mirror doesn't shock you. They soothe you. They make you believe you found a kindred spirit. And that's why they're so destructive. Because when the mask finally cracks, you're left questioning not just them, but yourself. Was any of it real? Did you imagine the connection? Or worse, did you lose part of yourself in the process? Psychologically, this archetype taps into projection. We project our hopes, fears, and desires onto others, and when someone reflects them back, we feel validated. But projection is a double-edged sword. It can help us understand ourselves, or it can blind us to manipulation. The false mirror knows this. They don't need to invent a new persona, they just need to reflect yours. Imagine standing in front of a mirror that shows you smiling, even when you're crying. At first, you're grateful for the comfort, but over time, you stop trusting your own emotions. You start believing the mirror more than yourself. That's what happens when you let these people too close. They rewrite your reality, and you surrender your authenticity. The way out is awareness. You must learn to spot the cracks in the reflection. Ask yourself, does this person ever disagree with me? Do they have their own identity, or do they only echo mine? Do I feel stronger after talking to them, or weaker? These questions reveal whether you're dealing with genuine connection or a dangerous illusion. And here's the truth. Real relationships are not perfect mirrors. They challenge you. They bring friction, disagreement, and growth. If someone always reflects you without question, it's not love, it's strategy. They're not showing you who they are, they're showing you who you want to see. This is why protecting your authenticity is vital. Don't hand over your identity to someone who only mirrors it back. Keep your core intact. Celebrate your uniqueness, even when it feels uncomfortable. Because the moment you stop needing false reflections, you stop being vulnerable to them. If you've ever felt drained after spending time with someone who seemed too perfect, trust that instinct. It's your psyche warning you that the mirror is cracked. Listen to it. Protect yourself. And remember Jung's words, Accepting yourself completely is terrifying, but it's also liberating. When you embrace your truth, no false mirror can control you. Before we move on, let me ask you something important. If you want to keep uncovering these hidden archetypes and learn how to protect your energy, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now. That way you won't miss the next chapter where we'll expose another subtle but dangerous personality. Chapter 2. The Silent Puppeteer. There are people who don't need to raise their voice, argue, or even speak much at all to control you. Their power lies in silence, in absence, in the invisible strings they pull when you least expect it. They are the silent puppeteers, those who manipulate not by action, but by withholding. At first, you might not even notice them. They seem calm, reserved, maybe even thoughtful. They don't demand attention, they don't push their opinions, and they don't openly criticize. But beneath that quiet exterior is a strategy. They control by creating gaps. They withdraw affection when you need it most. They disappear when you're vulnerable. They withhold approval until you bend yourself into knots trying to earn it. This kind of manipulation is dangerous because it's subtle. You don't see it coming. You only feel the emptiness, the lack, the cold space where warmth should be. And in that emptiness, you start questioning yourself. Did I do something wrong? Did I fail them? Should I try harder? The silent puppeteer doesn't need to say a word. You do the work for them. Think about relationships where someone's silence feels heavier than words. You share something important and they don't respond. You reach out and they don't answer. You ask for support and they vanish. That silence is not neutral. It's a tool. It creates tension, insecurity, and dependency. You start chasing their approval, desperate to fill the void they've created. The silent puppeteer thrives on this chase. They know that by withholding, they make you crave. By disappearing, they make you cling. By staying quiet, they make you speak more, reveal more, give more. And the more you give, the more they control. It's not about what they do, it's about what they don't do. Psychologically, this archetype taps into our fear of abandonment. Humans are wired to seek connection, to avoid rejection. When someone withdraws, it triggers anxiety. We scramble to restore the bond, even if it means sacrificing our boundaries. The silent puppeteer knows this instinct and exploits it. They don't need to shout, they just need to step back and watch you run forward. The danger here is that silence can be misinterpreted. You might think they're just busy, shy, or introverted, and sometimes that's true. But when silence becomes a pattern, when absence becomes a weapon, it's no longer innocent. It's manipulation. It's control disguised as quiet. Imagine a puppet on strings. The puppeteer doesn't need to yank or twist. A subtle pull, a slight release, and the puppet moves. That's how these people operate. They don't confront you directly. They guide you through invisible threads of approval and withdrawal. And because you can't see the strings, you believe you're moving on your own. The result is exhaustion. You find yourself constantly adjusting, constantly guessing, constantly trying to please. You lose track of your own needs because you're too busy responding to their silence. And the worst part? They never have to take responsibility. If you confront them, they shrug. I didn't say anything. Exactly. And that's the point. Breaking free from the silent puppeteer requires clarity. You must learn to recognize when silence is natural and when it's strategic. Ask yourself, does this person's silence make me feel calm, or does it make me feel anxious? Do they withdraw in moments of conflict, or do they withdraw to create conflict? Do I feel like I'm constantly chasing their attention? Once you see the strings, you can cut them. You stop chasing. You stop bending. You stop giving more than you receive. Instead, you set boundaries. You decide that silence will no longer control you. If they withdraw, You don't run after them. If they withhold, you don't beg. You reclaim your power by refusing to play the game. It's not easy. The silent puppeteer's strength lies in your fear of losing them. But here's the truth. If someone's presence depends on your constant effort, it's not real presence. If someone's affection depends on your endless sacrifice, it's not real affection. And if someone's silence leaves you feeling small, it's not love, it's control. Think about the times you felt drained after waiting for someone's response, approval, or attention. That exhaustion is not your fault. It's the result of strings being pulled in the shadows. Recognize it, name it, and then step away. Because silence should be a space for peace, not a weapon for manipulation. The silent puppeteer may seem harmless, but their impact is profound. They shape your emotions, your choices, your identity, all without saying a word. That's why they're dangerous, because you don't see the control until you're tangled in it. But once you see it, you can break free. You can choose relationships where silence is gentle, not heavy, where absence is temporary, not strategic, where approval is given freely, not dangled like a prize. You can choose to surround yourself with people who speak, who support, who show up. And when you do, the strings fall away. You stop being a puppet. You stop being controlled by silence. You reclaim your voice, your boundaries, your power. Chapter 3, The Eternal Storm. Some people seem to carry chaos with them wherever they go. It doesn't matter if the situation is calm, peaceful, or balanced. They will find a way to stir the waters. These are the eternal storms, individuals who thrive on turbulence and conflict. Because without it, they feel empty. At first, their energy can feel exciting. They bring drama, intensity, and unpredictability. You might even mistake it for passion. They tell stories filled with conflict. They spark debates. They create tension that makes life feel alive. But underneath that excitement is a dangerous truth. They cannot survive in peace. Calmness threatens them, so they summon storms to keep themselves afloat. The eternal storm doesn't always look aggressive. Sometimes they appear charming, adventurous, even magnetic. They draw people in with their intensity, making you believe that life with them will never be boring. And in a way, that's true, but it comes at a cost. Because when the storm never ends, you lose your ground. You spend your energy trying to stabilize what they constantly destabilize. Think about relationships where every calm moment is interrupted by sudden drama. Just when things feel steady, they pick a fight, stir gossip, or create a crisis. It's not accidental. It's their way of maintaining control. Chaos is their comfort zone, and if life doesn't provide it, they manufacture it. Psychologically, this archetype often reflects unresolved inner conflict. Instead of facing their own turmoil, they project it outward, turning every environment into a battlefield. They may not even realize they're doing it. To them, chaos feels natural, while peace feels threatening. But for those around them, the constant storms are exhausting. The danger is that you can get caught in their cycle. You start believing that drama is normal, that conflict is inevitable, that peace is impossible. You adapt to their turbulence, adjusting your emotions to survive the storm, and slowly, you forget what calm even feels like. The eternal storm thrives on this adaptation. They know that if you're always reacting to their chaos, you'll never have time to question it. You'll be too busy managing the crisis to see the pattern. And that's how they keep control. Not through silence, not through reflection, but through endless disruption. Imagine standing on a shore while waves crash endlessly. At first, the power of the ocean feels thrilling. But after hours, days, weeks of being battered, you realize you're not enjoying the waves anymore. you're just trying not to drown. That's what life with the eternal storm feels like. The way out is recognition. You must see the storm for what it is, not passion, not excitement, but chaos. Ask yourself, does this person bring balance or disruption? Do I feel grounded after being with them or drained? Do they create conflict even when none exists? These questions reveal whether you're dealing with genuine intensity or destructive turbulence. Breaking free means reclaiming your calm. You stop feeding the storm with your reactions. You stop letting their chaos dictate your emotions. Instead, you choose peace, even if they resist it. You set boundaries, refusing to be pulled into unnecessary drama. You remind yourself that calm is not boring. It's healing. It's not easy, because the eternal storm will fight against peace. They may accuse you of being cold, distant, or unfeeling. They may try to provoke you, to drag you back into the waves. But if you hold your ground, the storm loses its power, because chaos only thrives when it has an audience. Think about the times you felt drained after endless arguments, crises, or drama. That exhaustion is not a sign of weakness. It's proof that you've been weathering someone else's storm. Recognize it. Step away from it. And remind yourself that peace is not only possible, it's necessary. The eternal storm may seem unstoppable, but they are not invincible. Their chaos is a choice, and you can choose differently. You can choose relationships where calm is valued, where peace is respected, where intensity comes from passion, not conflict. You can choose to build a life where storms are rare, not constant. And when you do, you'll rediscover the strength of stillness. You'll remember what it feels like to breathe without tension, to live without drama, to grow without disruption. You'll realize that peace is not the absence of life, it's the foundation of it.